Alright, so this is the review for the Earth Science quiz we did last Thursday. If you weren't here, you need to make it up. Alright, remember that if warm air rises over cool air, the moisture in it is going to condense, form clouds, and possibly rain. Warm air holds more moisture than cooler air. So this is a trend. Warm air rises, the moisture condenses, and you're more likely to get rain. The lithosphere is constantly changing because of things like plate tectonics and seafloor spreading. Livestock, when they poop, the poop itself, as it decays, can release methane, CH4, and that is a greenhouse gas. So large numbers of cattle, pigs, so forth and so on can actually add a significant amount of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Compacted soil is less absorbent. So when the soil gets compacted by repeated use, it becomes hardtack. The pore spaces collapse, and it can't absorb water like it used to, and so the water runs off instead. And because the water runs off, you have more erosion. Reducing agriculture's impact on the environment. 3 basic ways: decrease pesticide use, decrease fertilizer use, increase crop rotation. Please note that any question about this on the exam or exit ticket, it might say increase or decrease. So make sure you read the individual answer choices correctly, because it might say increase pesticides, decrease fertilizer, in which case the answer is decrease fertilizer. Or it might say decrease pesticide, increase fertilizer, in which case decrease pesticide is correct. So make sure you read carefully. Unlimited fossil fuel use would lead to more pollution, more air pollution, water pollution, habitat destruction, so we don't want that. If a coastal aquifer is discharged too quickly, then salt water from the ocean may intrude into the aquifer. This is what we call a saltwater intrusion. 2 farmers decide to plant fewer types of corn in their fields. So what you're going to end up with is you have one type of corn or banana or whatever. If some disease comes along and it can kill some of your corn, it can kill all of your corn. So having less biodiversity leads to vulnerability to disease. All right, so you want variety. In the 1950s, the banana plantations were almost destroyed by the Panama disease, which is a fungus, because all of the banana plants were clones, basically, of 1 or 2 varieties, and they were all genetically identical. And so they had to replace the Gros Michel banana variety with the Cavendish banana. And the Cavendish banana, they do the same thing. They basically take a cutting and root it, and that's how they get new banana trees. So again, they're all basically clones, and the Panama disease has figured out how to attack the Cavendish banana, and so now the banana growers are in the same place they were 60 or 70 years ago. At the equator, air is warmer because that's the hottest part of the earth, And so as it moves away from the equator, it begins to cool, and as it cools, it becomes more dense, and that's going to allow it to sink below warmer air. Tsunamis do not affect global climate. Stratosphere is heated by the ozone layer, and the thermosphere is heated by the sun. A decrease in plants would lead to a decrease in animal populations because there's less food for the herbivores, which means there's fewer herbivores to be food for the carnivores. Decaying material and the decomposers in soil are biotic factors. The nutrients themselves are abiotic factors. But adding organic material that can decompose, that adds nutrients to the soil. Warm air is less dense and rises. Cooler air is more dense and it sinks. So as cooler air, and the cooler air is more dense and sinks, as cooler air replaces the rising warm air, then that's wind. Okay, so density, it's grouped, sorry. Okay, as cooler air replaces the rising warm air, you have wind. Okay, and that's the last one for the Earth Science Review. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you in class. Stay curious.